Welcome to The Shadow Archives, a fan-led show dedicated to Sara Samuel's The Blade of Shadows. We are coming fresh off the very exciting conclusion and the epic cliffhanger of Book One's Timeborne, where Olivia threw the daggers at Roman and Marcellious in the Colosseum, who caught them blade first like bosses, and then Olivia cut her own hand, and the darkness of shadows engulfed everyone, and the three got sucked into the nothingness of time travel. And today we get to catch up with our main characters as they all come to in a very unfamiliar world. And we are dissecting chapters 1 through 7 of Darkness of Time, Book 2. And to do that, I have the best of help. Please allow me to introduce today's hosts from around the world who will be taking us through the roller coaster. We have Louise from Denmark, Sam from England, Patrick from North Carolina, and Lisa from Northern Virginia.
Hi.
And not that anybody cares, but I'm Matt from Ohio.
We care.
And with that, the archives are officially reopened.
Hey, you know what? I want to share something with you guys real quick. I want to give a shout out to my sister Diana Rodriguez because she supports and watches all of the podcasts. And she just started reading Timeborne because I asked her to.
Cute.
Woo! New readership.
She's been watching all the Timeborne, that have been out released. And I'm like, she's like, so it's a time travel. I'm like, but not any that you've ever read before. You've got to try it. So she's doing it. She got it on Kindle.
Cool.
Right on. Shout out, Diana.
Have fun.
Thank you guys for saying that.
Enjoy the run. Darkness of Time begins with Olivia, Roman, and Marcellious all coming to in a strange new world, but they're separated. And so I think we're going to begin with Olivia's part of the story. So, Lou, would you like to do us the honors?
Yes. Of course, to no one's surprise, I think Olivia has to figure out where she is, or more exactly, when she is. And she wakes up right on top of or next to a corpse, so that's not the most happy awakening, I'm guessing. And she's alone. She doesn't know where Roman is. She doesn't know where Marcellius is. Not sure she cares so much about the last one now, but it sucks to be alone when you don't know when you are or where. So she tries to figure it out. She searches for a bit and she finds her dagger, puts it back into her place, realizes, oh, she still got her gun, which I'm thinking she's gonna be very happy about later on. And then she realizes, okay, I can't go around looking like I'm doing now because the corpse next to me, he's not dressed in a loincloth or anything from that timeline. So she has to take off his clothes, and she's not going to wear that because it's not a very fresh corpse. So she has to clean it somehow. And she realized that, okay, she uses the skills Moonlight has taught her, and she found a stream. So she goes to wash the clothes, and then she has to wait for it to dry a bit. I think everything is better than just taking it fresh off the corpse. And then, of course, Olivia is Olivia. She hears some trouble, and she's like, okay, I can hear something. I can't just ignore it. So through Olivia fashion, she has to help. So she realizes, oh, two women are bound at the end of a wagon. So she has to help them, of course. So she just randomly shoots, not that randomly, there's a meaning behind this, but she shoots two soldiers with her gun. Well, good thing she still had it.
With her Glock.
Yeah, with her Glock. And then she realizes, okay, I'm actually not in as good a shape as I thought I was. But of course, when would she have the time to practice? She's been in Rome. So it doesn't really work out the way she hoped, I think, because they tie her up. And then she has to try to hound the wagon with the two other women. And then we have another thing with Olivia here. She's being her sassy self. And I love this because they asked her, where did you get these clothes? And she's like, well, I took them off a dead man. I figured he wouldn't need them anymore. So, and well, we can
True
only
that.
agree. What is he going to use it for? So, even in the face of danger, Olivia is just being Olivia, and I really love this part.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, my family is dead. They got shot by the British. And then I just ran to the forest. I was looking for shelters because, of course, they want to know what she was doing there. Apart from killing soldiers, which I think they were actually taking it quite lightly that she just shot 2 soldiers. They're just like, okay, we're just gonna tie you up, and then that's it,
Really?
pretty much. And then she's trying to talk to the 2 women, Emily and Charlotte. And then she's like, okay, no, actually, she starts describing them to, I don't know if she does, but we hear a little bit about them. And I thought it was such a beautiful description. So Emily, she is described like this. Now I'm quoting the book. She'd have graced the cover of a magazine back in the 21st century, but now she looked like a broken doll. And this reminded me of Timeborne, and I was like, oh, we had that broken doll, and here we have like, oh, this is how the doll, maybe not that doll, but here's the pretty part of the doll. I like the way we had these connections. And Emily is the oldest, and then there's Charlotte, she's the younger one, and these 2 are very different. So Charlotte is a little bit more, just like it. She's a little bit more, she's more scared. She's more, oh my God, we're gonna die. And Emily is like, yeah, we might die, but she has this stubbornness. And I actually just sat there laughing for myself because I'm like, oh, she has these Olivia parts, and we all know why this makes sense. Not telling too much about this for now. So yeah, and then Olivia, she starts wondering, okay, why did I end up in this place? Because Roman, he told me the dagger will take you where you need it the most. Uh, yeah, but clearly she has to help these 2 women, and yeah, it makes sense. Then we also hear that the girl's dad is in a wagon in front of them. His name is Philip, and he's been accused of terrible things. And then later on, we learn that he's been accused of selling weapons in the war of 1812. So Olivia has moved quite a few years since Rome.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a little bit back and forth. The soldiers are being, I don't know what's the nice word for being assholes. Pricks.
That's accurate. That's accurate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
nice
I
enough.
don't think, they're behaving
Bullseye.
well. I know this was normal back then, but Olivia with her mindset not from that time, she still does not put up with their bullshit. So she tells one of the soldiers named Rusty, you harm one hair on any of us, and I'll feed your balls to you. That's another Olivia classic.
And she can
She
do
would
that.
too.
She can do it.
Uh-huh.
We have no doubt. We know she can. And then she tries to reason with the father. She's like, do something for your children. Why are you just sitting there? Why are you not trying to do anything? And he's like, she's not dragged into this. And then it's time for them to have a break. The horses need to be rested, and the soldiers need to eat. And then the 3 women are actually receiving a bit of food. But with your hands bound, it's not very easy to eat. So they have to eat like dogs. But reading this out, like, okay, I thought they were actually just gonna let them starve. So I was a bit surprised. And then these wonderful, charming soldiers, they come back later, and now we hear Emily not putting up with their crap. So she's like, Rusty is calling her Emily. She's like, you don't deserve to call me by my given name. And so this was where we see this again. Okay, she has the Olivia says as well. I don't have another name for it. For me, it's just Olivia says every time there's a sassy remark or anything. And then Rusty tries to provoke Philip into talking more about the weapons. They're like, okay, who are you selling them to? Where are they? And she doesn't want to talk. And then he starts cutting into Charlotte, but still, she's not saying very much. And Olivia tries again to reason with him. Uh, you have to protect your daughters. If it was my dad, he would have done everything in his power to protect me. I think this should be quite natural for a parent, but well, maybe he has reasons we don't know about. And then she just screams at him, if you don't talk, he's gonna kill your daughters. Yeah, and he's like, no, I don't know, I didn't do anything. He's kind of like that, and then he's like, no, I swear I'm working alone. After he actually admits, okay, I'm telling him, but I'm working alone. There's no one else. But of course, the soldiers aren't gonna just believe anything, but they're not that dumb, unfortunately. So they shoot him in the arm, in one of his arms, and then he admits, okay, he's working with the British Army, and he's distributing the weapons to the native tribes. And then he's like, no, now I told you everything. Well, of course they don't believe that either. So they shoot him in one of his shoulders, and then he's like, no, I don't have the weapons. I promise, I'm telling the truth. And then, of course, no, that wasn't the truth either. And he admits to hiding them at the plantation, Western Hills.
Mhm.
And then, of course, it ends up with him getting killed because, well, they realized, okay, now he probably told us everything and we have no use for him. But before that, he actually asked them, please spare my daughters and please spare the woman because he was just trying to help. Yeah. And then that was the end of him. And then we have Olivia once again being Olivia. And she's like, okay, I'm going to get my revenge on these people. And yeah, I sat there. I'm going to look so much forward to this because we know Olivia doesn't do anything half-heartedly. So she's going to keep her word. And then Olivia and Olivia, I'll try again. Olivia and Emily succeed in escaping, and Charlotte didn't make it because she got hit somehow. We actually don't quite know, but she doesn't. She doesn't make it that way. And actually, here Olivia was being a badass again because she went to a fire and just put her bound wrist over it and was almost setting herself ablaze. But Olivia, being Olivia, we need to get away, and there's no stopping us. I think that was the main point for these parts.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I just wanted to add that I really loved the way we had all these Olivia moments where she was just so much her. We just had all these little snippets of seeing her being her best. And I love the way she can't ignore someone who needs her help.
I love her spirit. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's such a
character.
contrast to what we read before, where she was running away in the rain and running off every time she had to fight with Rome. And now we see her back in her form and back to her more normal self. And yeah, the powerful Olivia.
Yes.
Speaking of the moments when she pulls out her Glock and she starts shooting the soldiers, she has like the bullet countdown.
Yeah.
Right.
And it reminds me of Deadpool for some reason.
Yeah.
That soldier wore the brown pants.
Yeah. I remember the first time I read it, I was like, I have to keep a watch on this throughout the book and see if she keeps counting. I was like, I want to see if anyone is, or if she's ever counting it wrong, or if she's just, I know exactly where I was, even if I didn't shoot anyone for like a month or something.
Yeah, you mentioned that like Emily tells Olivia that it's the War of 1812. I've only ever really read about the War of 1812 from the American perspective. And obviously it wasn't called the War of 1812 at the time. It was called like Mr. Madison's War or whatever. But I'm really curious what non-Americans know the War of 1812 as? Like Lou or Sam, do you guys even, is that even a blip in your schooling? Do you care at all about the War of 1812?
It's never mentioned.
I think we do.
Never ever mentioned. We have like the Battle of Hastings and other bits and pieces, but yeah, it's not really a blip on our side. Or even though I know it's mostly to do with us, is it not?
I mean,
Like
yeah.
it's a fight between the two.
Yeah, it was America and Britain. Y'all burned Washington, D.C.
There. Is that
Yeah.
because somebody threw a cup of tea in the... I'm only going by Hamilton.
I think I read something sometime, or maybe I saw it on Instagram or something, but like a British person was like, yeah, we don't really care because we had so much bigger stuff going on in Europe that
one too.
your like tiny little battles over there didn't care. We had Napoleon like conquering
I was
our
going to
world.
say we were colonizing, so that's more on our historic radar.
Yeah.
I think our name for it is very, very creative. We're calling it the British American War.
Oh, wow.
The
Well,
second
that's what it
call
was.
it as you see it.
And it happened
I
in
wonder
I love it.
1812.
Straight to the point. Love it.
Y'all talked about I kind of overheard you were talking about the Glock issue. And when I was reading it, I kind of was wondering if it was an open carry, because she said she put the pants on underneath the stola and then attached the Glock to her thigh. So obviously to me, that says it's an open carry because it was on after the pants were, but yet she was taken captive. Why didn't they take the Glock if it was stuck to her hip?
or
I
her
thought
big
about
huge
that
knife.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or the
Wasn't it?
dagger. I was like, wait a second. Hey, so you're just going to tie her hands up and just let her walk around with that Glock, which is one that you've never seen before,
Mhm.
you know, and just allow it to be there. So I was like, what happened?
She got the guy's pants and the stola on.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the way I read it. Now,
She has
in
the
the
pants
original
and the
work,
stola.
so in the original version, she actually put the pants and the jacket over top of the day bag and left. So she actually didn't put the pants on when she
Yeah, because
left the
that's
dead
what
guy.
I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when I read the first version, that she'd
Yeah,
put
the
it in a
first version
bag
she
to
did
take
not.
it with
And
her.
I went back and forth with, okay, hold on, wait a second. This is different. So the newest version, the one that we have now, she slipped the pants on beneath the stola and then tucked
And
the
the
coat
shirt
into
over the
the
stola.
haversack.
Yeah.
Haversack. So my question was more of when she was quote unquote captured and she was tied to the back of the cart, was her Glock still attached to the outside of her pants, attached to her thigh, the thigh holster? Because when I was in the Marine Corps, that's what I had. I had a thigh holster with my Beretta. It was on the outside. It would not. There's no way I could have gotten into my pants down to my thigh to pull out my weapon if I needed to. It just doesn't make sense to
Well,
me.
the stola was probably covering it.
That's possible.
I'm just saying.
Can I
I don't
admit
know.
something? Can I admit something?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I forgot. Her stola had pockets. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot that her stola had pockets, so that's probably where her Glock was at.
No.
It just came to me. Sorry about that.
So,
You know,
so the entire time we've been talking about the Glock being on her thigh, can somebody explain to me why I've been thinking it's on the inside of the thigh and not the outside of the thigh until Patrick just said then that it's on the outside? I've been wondering the whole time how she's walking with this gun attached to the inside of her thigh.
Thigh gap. She has a definite thigh gap. 100% has a thigh gap.
I've taken, what is this, the best part of 6 weeks where we've been talking about Glocks and daggers for me thinking it's in between on the inside of her thigh and not hosted on the outside.
Maybe the knife's on the inside and
I
the
don't know what to
gun's
tell
on
you,
the
Sam.
outside.
I don't get it. Why is my brain not registered that it's on the outside? My mind literally
Well,
blew as soon as Patrick said, "Oh, I had the holster on the outside." I was like, "The outside, obviously."
Yeah, but to your point, Patrick, they don't frisk her or anything.
No.
Like even like let's hypothetically say, I'm pretty sure that she tucked the stola into the pants. But hypothetically, if she just let it fall down like a dress, maybe it would have covered it. But why didn't the guards frisk her? Because two of their compadres have got, dude, she did headshots. Did
Yeah.
y'all read
Yeah.
that?
oh yeah,
Headshots.
big sprays of blood.
Headshot from behind a tree. Yeah.
One bullet each headshot. Like, this is why I'm just like, this is Deadpool. It was a Deadpool moment because she's counting her bullets and headshotting everyone.
But
And they're not even going to frisk her? Crazy, man.
I was also
Yeah.
wondering if why do they not react? I'm assuming a rifle and a Glock doesn't make quite the same sound. I don't know.
Oh no.
But yeah, I was like,
No
why
one
are they not
close.
reacting to a gun sound that isn't a rifle sound? Or bayonet or whatever.
I don't think they had time to react. I think if she's doing headshots, it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was thinking the other guys, why don't they react to with just heard shots and they don't sound like the normal kind? And why are they not like, where's your weapon? Oh, it was her, and now she's kicking someone. But why is no one wondering where's the weapon?
And that's a really good thigh holster to hold on to that weapon while she is like going kung fu crazy.
Yeah.
I am very
outside.
impressed.
On the outside. No. Maybe
Yeah, on
it's
the
such a
outside.
good holster because it's on the inside.
Maybe that's why it didn't fall out.
Yeah.
Maybe she's got thighs of steel because of all the training. That gun holster
And the
on the
horseback riding.
inside just works well.
And that was,
Although it has to be on the outside because she's been riding horses.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I can think of with the American soldiers is that this just must be like 19th and 18th century sexism at its peak.
Oh yeah,
She's a
they're
woman.
underestimating
Why
her.
could she possibly pose a threat, even though two of our compadres are offed? Obviously, she didn't do it. She's a girl.
she was just passing by.
Anyway, they're thinking other things about her anyway. They're not
Everybody
thinking
is,
about
apparently.
weapons. I
I've
guess
wondered what it must be like to be so attractive like this, and this is not gender specific, but just to be so attractive that 9 out of 10 people you meet think dirty thoughts about you. I have no, what is that like?
I don't think I'd want to know.
Speaking of being shot, Charlotte is shot. Well, and Philip is shot, but we legitimately watch Philip die, D-I-E, die, dead. We don't watch Charlotte die. We watch her get shot and she falls into the... So my question is, what's the consensus here? Is Charlotte indeed dead, like Emily says? Or, because we never saw the dead body, do we think that Charlotte's coming back in some weird way in Lost Legacy?
I don't think it matters if you've seen the dead body or not, because you've seen Helena die and she came back. You've seen multiple people die and then come back. So I don't think it would matter whether she did die or not.
So do you think she's coming back? Or do you think she's a nothing burger?
I hope not. She was doing my nutting. She did my nutting. If Olivia wasn't going to leave her, I would have. Yeah. I don't know how you've got. I understand that obviously she's gone through a lot. You know, she's just seen her dad be slain, and you know, she's just seen her sister ride off with this random woman. But she is just a moony little bitch. I honestly, I couldn't do it.
I
I
think
couldn't
so
do it.
too.
I'd have been like, "Do you know what? You're on your own. Carry on."
Just dragging us down. Yeah, I don't know what purpose would she have in the final book though? I can't think of one.
Yeah, I
She had
chalked her up to being
distraction.
an NPC.
I think she's just a casualty.
Yeah, because if you look back at all of the female characters that Sarah actually puts a little effort into, they're all pretty much really strong women. And
Mhm.
Charlotte was nowhere near
Nope.
that.
I would argue that she had very strong lungs.
Well, that'd be
And
about it.
determination, because if she's crying for that long, my lord.
That
I
I
think
think I
that
think Charlotte is the like teenage embodiment of why parents with colicky babies do really terrible things.
I think she's the only reason that she's really placed in this story is to show the parallel between Emily's character and Charlotte, you know, to see that there is a total slice between that she is more like Olivia and like, shit, we need to get out of this situation. Okay, like, let's go grab these horses and do it. Can you ride? Yeah, I can. And then the sister's like, I don't know how to stay on a horse. Oh no. There's a
Yeah.
clear divide of who they are. And I
She's
think
not
that's
a
obviously when you
survivor.
I think that's obviously also where you start questioning things, because obviously she's got the necklace that you know she notices later on and stuff. I think it's a little bit more like trying to show you that she's more like Olivia and there's more to her story than Charlotte. Anyway, Sarah, if you're listening, I really hope Charlotte doesn't come back, please.
So we know Sam doesn't like Charlotte.
She didn't do much for me either.
No, I think all that Charlotte did for me is actually going to come up at the end of chapter 5 when Emily is talking about her childhood. I think that's really the work that Charlotte does in the story for me, which we'll get to that later. But man, dude, these American soldiers are brutal. Because we'll see their brutality in Roman's story, but like they put a bullet in both of Philip's shoulders. I understand that that's not supposed to kill somebody unless you hit a major artery, but like this is an agrarian society. This is a manual work society. If you don't have your shoulders, if you don't have rotator cuffs that are going to function later, you're done.
Yeah, but they think they shot through his lung as well, because there was mention of the blood that was trickling out the side of his mouth. And they thought that, or Olivia thought that maybe he'd been, you know, obviously hit in the shoulder, but it would have like clipped his lung. That in that time, it wouldn't have mattered if you had no shoulders, you wouldn't have been able to survive
Well,
that at
no,
all.
obviously he died, but like I don't think that was their intention. I think their intention was to just put holes in him.
I
No, I
agree.
think
Make
I
him
think
suffer.
Obviously they put him out of his misery,
Yeah.
but like I was really curious because I read this and I wanted to know your guys' thoughts. I read this scene as they shot him in the shoulder. He gave up some information. He tried to hold on to more secrets. They're like, we call BS. They shot him in the other shoulder. He gave up more information. And then they were like, oh, they must have nicked a lung or something. Is that how you guys read this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So can somebody please somehow explain to me the physics of shooting somebody in the shoulder but getting their lung instead? Because I'm missing the plot on that.
It depends on where you're hitting on the shoulder. Like, if you're hitting more collarbone area, so you still class that as your shoulder, right? If you're hitting your collarbone area, your lungs just start dividing from the bottom of this bit, your neck. So where your collarbone starts. So if you hit here, so I have asthma, and so when I have a checkup for asthma, they're listening all up here because this is where your lungs technically sit. So you're not sitting sort of lower, but your lungs sort of sit just underneath your collarbone. So your esophagus is there, and then it sort of comes across on your collarbones. So if you get hit in the shoulder up here, you
Okay.
might
It
not
could go
hit the lung,
through.
you could
through
graze
the,
it. And if you graze it enough that you're going to cause a hole, then, you know.
It must be because I'm genetically widely shouldered.
Right.
So like when I think of getting shot in the shoulder, I think of getting hit over here. And I just don't understand how my lung would get shot in the process. But what you're saying, Sam, makes so much more sense. If you're
Literally,
getting
as
shot
far
like
as I'm
here,
aware, whenever I have my
yeah.
asthma tests, they put it sort of from your collarbone because it technically sits just underneath your collarbone. So that's where your rib cage starts. I could be wrong, but that's where I've been told mine sit just underneath my collarbone.
As the resident respiratory therapist, you're absolutely correct, Sam. If they're shot up here, because in the medical sense, you know, we see gunshots all the way, and if it's up in this area, it's still considered the shoulder. If it's down in this area below the collarbones, it's the chest.
Okay.
You know,
Uh-huh.
so, and yeah, if you get caught like right here in between, and those bullets weren't meant to stay together.
No.
I mean, usually once they come out of the end of the rifle, they were basically just a blob of, you know, whatever. So it's very easy that massive claw, basically is what they almost look like, would just go in and just kind of tear through whatever was in there. So yeah, it's very possible that they did that. So,
That's rough. Do we have anything on Shadow Watch in these first Olivia chapters?
I didn't
Not that
notice. Did we?
Have I missed one?
maybe a
Your face-
couple, but
Well, while Patrick's looking, I'll ask a follow-up question. Do we think that whatever shadow descriptions we're getting at this moment, is it literally just shadows and imagery, or do we think it has anything, you know, shadow lore, darkness, nefariousness associated with it?
There's a couple later on, but as far as I'm aware, it's just more descriptive than it is presence.
yeah, that's from the couple things that I've noticed, because, you know, I'm trying to make sure I mark the shadows, at least the mention of the shadows. And I think it's just more of, you know, the shadows in the forest, or, you know, it's early in the morning or it's late in the evening, and it's just shadows in the corners, but there's no persona, I guess, attached to the shadows at this point. Or the ones that she's covered so far.
I was trying to pay attention because, like, okay, so we know at this point, we know that Balthazar is actively hunting both Alina, but he thinks that maybe Alina's gone, so he's hunting her daughter instead. So, and we know that Malik is also following them here at some point very soon. So I've been trying to follow any references to shadows in some way, shape, or form.
I will
But
say
yeah,
that
I think I only got one in chapter 3, and I don't think it connects to
I
anybody.
was gonna say I think I've got one in chapter 3, but I will say I don't think I've ever read a book with this much happening in the first like 2 chapters.
Olivia and Emily escape into the darkness after Emily's dad and half sister are KO'd. And I guess we should turn our attention to Roman's and Marcellius' part of the story. Patrick, would you like to take us on a little journey?
Yeah. So I actually took a page of Tam and actually wrote a little short summary at the end of my book, at the end of my chapter book. And then I'll go back through and kind of pick it apart. So, but basically not a lot really happened in this particular chapter, outside of the fact that Roman and Marcellius land together in the forest. Marcellius still wants to kill Roman, like that didn't change. Roman is worried about survival. And he's also worried about Olivia, because obviously Olivia's not there.
That's right.
And he's heartbroken. They each have to get to their daggers back, because obviously they didn't fall with him. I don't know why they wouldn't stay in their hands, but they actually find him a little bit farther away. Some soldiers happen upon them, and Marcellious, the emotional stature of Marcellious gets a hold of him, and he kills two of them because they look like savages because they're still in their stolas or loincloths.
With long hair.
Yeah, with the long hair. Shocking, right? And then obviously Marcellious now speaks English, which is something that kind of caught Roman off guard. And Roman is now trying to figure out if Marcellious is actually his twin and not Marcus.
That's right.
The plot thickens. Marcellious is shot by the soldiers. Marcellious and Roman are taken into custody.
In the shoulder.
And they live. Yep, and they live.
Always in the shoulder.
They leave for the camp, and he actually gets shot in the shoulder. Yeah. So shoulders are definitely, obviously the aim has gotten much better in the 20th century because obviously Olivia was able to get 2 headshots in from behind a tree, and these guys can just hit, basically almost center mass and just hit the torso. They are thrown in a quote unquote American dungeon, is what I would call it. And there's a dead guy in the corner of the cell. Why is there always a dead guy in the corner of the cell? I mean, there's always one.
Could be
and this one does not smell. Huh?
Could be faking and a spy.
Well, that is very true. However, he does not smell like a bed of roses.
Well, okay.
So he probably actually is dead.
He smells dead. Yeah.
Because it just talks about how vile it is, and it's just ridiculously bad. Marcellious obviously took a bullet and is probably septic. Roman calls out to Amara to ask her what he should do. And of course, Amara pops up into his brain and says, well, you should take the bullet out. Duh. And then he chuckles to himself. He's like, well, how would Amara know what a bullet is? Who knows why she would know that?
She knows everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, the ever resourceful Roman is able to find enough medical supplies in his little, cell to actually work on building a fire and sterilizing his dagger because now he's really worried about making sure he doesn't introduce any kind of infection.
Yeah. We don't want to put any STDs into that shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. Well, STDs are okay. It's the other stuff, They
got syphilis of the shoulder.
So anyway, he is actually able to sterilize his dagger. He forces it into Marcellius's wound, to which obviously Marcellious, screams out in pain. And Roman kept digging while telling Marcellious that shh, just bite down on the rope. Just hush, just stop.
Yeah.
But he does actually get it because he hears the bullet hit the ground. Marcellious asked Roman if he was trying to kill him, which Roman says basically, if I wanted you dead, I would have killed you a long time ago.
Exactly.
You would already be dead. But they hear soldiers coming in, and Roman's like, oh, I got to hide my medical supplies because I want them to think that I was playing doctor in here. So he picks up all the supplies, gets rid of the fire, and he decides to go visit the dead guy again and say, hey, can you hold these for me? Try not to let him be found. And then he goes back in, sits next to Marcellious, puts his hands behind his back to make sure, oh, look, I'm still tied up. Oh, but he sits to where Marcellius's shoulder is wrapped. Now his now wrapped shoulder is, oh, by the way, where did he get clean water to clean out the wound?
And where did he get the bandages?
Oh, the bandages he cut off of his
dripping water.
Yeah.
It's super clean.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay.
No syphilis
Okay,
here.
anyway. So he sits to where he doesn't see him. The soldiers come in and they're starting to ask him questions. And and they find out that, Roman's not a very good liar because he just can't keep his story straight. First, he's with maidens, and they take his clothes.
Which my big question
And then
about
all of a
this
sudden,
bit.
no, it's the Kiowa that actually take his clothes, and the soldiers are not that dumb to be like, no, wait a second, hold on. You told us this, and then now you're telling us this. You're lying.
But how come he's
But that's
such a
okay.
good liar when it comes to Olivia and not telling her that he's a Timeborne? But this bit, he's like, yeah, no, they took our clothes because we were swimming. But no, actually, this happened. Like, how has he gone from being like this professional liar to just shit?
New country,
Change of
new
scenery.
shit.
Yeah. Sam, it really makes me remember a few episodes back. I think we were in Scotland, maybe, or right before Scotland. I asked everybody if they thought Roman was toxic or not, and all of you all swore up and down that man is not toxic. And I'm just sitting here. He's a really good liar when Olivia's concerned, apparently. I don't know. I don't know.
He does not do well here, for sure. So anyway, so they go back and forth with it. Obviously, they didn't get the information they want, so that's fine. We'll just give you to the captain. He's going to kill you. He's going to kill you anyway. So they go ahead and leave. And the chapter basically ends because they start bickering back and forth. Well, why did you save me? Why did you kill me? I still want you dead. Blah 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 blah. Well, wait a second. Hold on. You speak English. Where are you coming from anyway? This is different. He talks about the gun, the white man, and all this. Now I'm really trying to figure out who this Marcellious guy is. That's Roman, obviously. And he asked him, what century did you come from? And of course, Marcellious is like, I ain't telling you crap.
I
still hate you.
secrets too.
I just hate you, and I'm not going to tell you. So, but he's like, Roman's like, look, if we're going to survive this, if we're going to escape, we got to work together. So they barter out a deal that Marcellious will be his ally for 24 hours to be able to escape. So at this point, Roman is, they're trying to figure out exactly how to go now that they're on team escape. And Rowan's like, well, how are we going to do this? And then Marcellious is like, well, somebody's coming back anyway. So, of course, they go hurry back and they start, they put their hands behind their back. Somebody says, oh, you guys are going to die. I'm going to bring you your last meal. He says, oh, well, can you untie us? And he's like, whatever. You think I'm that dumb? But I am dumb enough that I'm going to bring it right next to you. So, obviously, he does that. Roman grabs him by the scruff of the neck, and obviously he's no longer breathing. Roman takes his clothes, which obviously this is not your typical 1800 soldier guy that probably weighs 100 pounds, and he's like 5'6", because I think that was usually the average height and average weight back then.
Right.
I don't know how, unless Roman just was completely emancipated over time travel and skipping the, 400 years or so. So I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Marcellious makes a comment about how he looks like a soldier that needs to size up his wardrobe. So the clothes are pretty schmedium, I think.
Oh, well, he definitely squeezes into them. He does say they are a little tight, But in my mind, I could see like Huckleberry Finn,
Yes.
with the pants halfway up his thigh,
Yeah.
halfway up his calf. The sleeves are like up to here,
Yeah.
Or Tommy Boy, fat guy in a little coat,
Yeah.
So that's what I'm picturing when I see Roman in this particular uniform.
I had the imagery from Shrek. Shrek 2.
Oh,
yes.
Nice.
Absolutely. So they decide to go ahead and leave because now Roman looks like a soldier. So now he can kind of walk around and nobody will ever notice that he's dressed appropriately, that his uniform doesn't fit. But he's able to take the fire starter that he was able to find off the dead guy in the corner and start making fires on the wagons that are filled with hay. And then he tells Marcellious, go grab a couple horses, go hide in the trees and wait for me. And then he starts the fires, and then everybody goes into chaos, and Roman takes off and catapults himself onto the horse, and they escape.
Like a boss.
Like bosses, yeah.
When Raymond describes that Amara comes to him about how to help Marcellious in the situation, does anybody else think it's a little bit sus? Because my brain instantly went to when she comes to the caves to help Olivia in like the physical form. Do you actually think that she turned up to him, or do you think it's just a figment of his imagination?
I think it's more like he's thinking, what would Amara say? What would Amara do?
WWAD.
Exactly.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
just part of me thought maybe she actually potentially could have been there, like in a roundabout way, because she does turn up later on as like a spiritual guide.
Mm,
Well, then maybe.
And she turns up when Olivia's having the baby.
yeah. When Roman's going through the semi-quasi, whatever that trial is that Amir put him through. They show up because they even goes into the poisons and the potions, on which ones to drink or which ones to recognize. So, but who knows? That question. I actually laughed out loud when he just started chuckling. How would she know what a bullet is? I'm like,
Yeah.
No,
That was one of my
Really?
questions. Yeah.
It was a good thing. Like, she's never seen a bullet. What would she know a bullet is?
1000% seen a bullet.
But,
yeah.
but
Oh,
yeah,
I was gonna say, we know she probably
they're
has.
Timeborns. Don't they realize that other people can be Timeborns too? And maybe she does know? I mean,
Yeah,
come
but
on.
sweet Amara wouldn't do things like that, would she?
Amara's a boss. She
she's
can
a
do
healer. She's seen everything. She's seen
We
whatever
know
hasn't
she
been
is.
invented yet. She's already seen it.
I think
We know she is,
everybody
but he
should
thinks
ask
she's the old.
WWAD.
One of the questions I had was where when Marcellius actually speaks English, because it said I stood frozen, stunned not only by the carnage after Marcellius killed the two guys, but also Marcellius spoke perfect English. If he grew up Sioux with Moon Lee during the 1800s, late 1700s, I'm pretty sure they were not in cahoots with the Americans at that time, not the Sioux. So, and then he went straight to Rome, and Latin is nowhere close to English. So I'm trying to figure out, did Moon Lee teach Marcellius English?
Yes,
my
he
head
did. He always teaches whoever he teaches them as many languages as he knows. So, he always makes sure they know different languages since they're time travelers and place travelers.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I assume because that sounds. Moonlee is pretty thorough, or Dancing Fire, whatever you want then.
And Moon Lee knew he was a Timeborne.
Exactly.
He
he would have been
already
grooming
knew.
him.
Because he was being trained to obviously kill Balthazar. So obviously he had a little bit more leg up. And that's where I think even in Timeborne, as soon as Olivia showed up and the way she was, fighting and whatever, I'm almost wondering if he recognized some of what Olivia was doing. Like, wait, so I've seen that before, but then it just didn't click,
Probably. Yeah.
But I think when
with him.
I think
Because he even said when he in his drunken state, I knew exactly who you were the first time I met you. So there was something that he saw that triggered a memory to say, I think you're one of me.
In her
But yet, I'm
fighting
not going to tell you
style.
what I am either.
Yeah, her fighting style. What were you going to say, Lou?
And I was just thinking about how we talked about him suppressing stuff, but I think, yeah, he might be realizing it without, well, really realizing what it is he's realizing. Okay, that was
Yeah.
complicated. Yeah, but he's just,
Yeah, he was probably like, I know that fighting style.
yeah.
She still was a better student, though, obviously.
Oh, for sure.
Can we go back to the Amara bit for a hot minute? I've been having a brainwave, and I want to get y'all's thoughts on this theory.
Oh,
Okay, so I do not think that Amara was physically there. I don't think it was like a cave thing, right? But I also am dubious of it just being a WWAD thing inside of Roman's brain. Here's my brainwave. Do y'all remember at the end of Rise of the Shadow Lords when Salvatore comes out of nowhere and offs Amara, and Lazarus's book, Tome of Shadows, tells him how to
bring her back to life.
bring her back?
Yeah.
Well, I wrote down all of those steps in my notes that I have going for when we do these. And step 4, the second half of step 4 says, "Know this, the one who binds cannot sever the tether. When the soul returns, it will carry a part of the binder within it, and he will feel its heartbeat as his own." Blah, 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 right? And we talked about that as how that's how Lazarus is able to track Olivia and Roman and Marcellious, because he's the one that brought them back, and he has a
Exactly.
tether to them. So what I'm wondering now is there like a transitive law of sorts where, because Lazarus brought Amara back, there's a piece of Lazarus inside Amara, and because Lazarus brought Roman and Marcellius back, there's a piece of Lazarus inside of Roman and Marcellius. Is there any way in which Amara, with all of her great access to Lazarus and the bigger picture, can find Lazarus's soul and have some type of connection
Like a hive
Yeah,
that's a
mind.
little bit more than with Roman?
That's a good
Like
point.
a hive mind from Stranger Things. When one's connected by a
Exactly. The hive
demigod.
mind thing.
Yeah, like the hive mind. That you can see other people who are in the same, who have been touched by the same person because you're all connected by
Mhm.
one mind.
Yeah.
But not
Could it be even minimal enough that it's just like Amara could push thoughts towards Roman when she hears him thinking of her, or something?
Sure.
Like, I'm not trying to say that they now have telekinesis or whatever, but like, is there is that connection maybe helping put very specific thoughts in Roman's heads about how to clean gunshot wounds, for example?
I think that's a good point. Why not? Anything is possible.
I like it, but it's very clear in this chapter it's not the case, because it says something like, I question the ghost of her memory, and it's something with her imagined was. So if it's that, then Roman is definitely not realizing it and not believing in it. But I really like it.
Did anybody else catch the Roman describes Marcellius's skin as maggot colored?
Yes,
yeah.
I underlined that.
I caught that.
Yeah.
I actually did write down on my notes, like, oh, look,
Yeah.
maggots are here too. So
I just think it's a really interesting choice of words because of what we know happens in book 4 with Balthazar and Alina, but also because we know that Balthazar gets Marcellius to be on his side in this book.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Why did the author very specifically decide to describe his skin color as maggot colored? That just
Well,
seems like a very specific choice.
I agree. And I think it's because he is still kind of evil, maggot-like in Roman's eyes, and he needs to either prove him wrong or, you know.
Okay. Well, let's stipulate for a second. Yeah.
All right.
Spoiler alerts for the viewers, but Marcellious and Emily get together.
Yes.
Nope.
Now, if we
Nope.
remember the maggot scene in book 4, I'm just going to ask.
Patrick's in distress.
Marcellious has maggot-colored skin. Is Emily turned on by this maggot-colored skin like Alina is turned on by Balthazar's maggots?
No.
I think
No?
the skin color will return to normal before that.
Yeah. I don't think Emily's into maggots or anything like that.
And
Maybe
I don't
Emily's
think
not, but
I don't
Sara
think-
is definitely into parallel symmetrical storylines.
Sure.
and Marcellius' skin wasn't sloughing off either. So
Right.
Okay, accurate.
So
Accurate.
very
like
pale.
mother.
Is that what that means? He's really white and pale? Yeah.
Kind of yellowish, probably. Now we've reached a point where Roman and Marcellius, just like Olivia and Emily, have both gotten on horses and ridden into the night, escaping their American soldier captors. And now the question is, what happens? Sam, can you bring us to a close?
I can. So Olivia and Emily have successfully outrun the bad guys and parked their horse in a peaceful meadow, and start immediately unpacking their emotional baggage, where they have family drama, lost loves, and childhood trauma. And the funniest thing in this whole thing is that Olivia feels really sorry for Emily because she's just lost Charlotte, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry for your loss." And Emily's instant response was, "Well, yeah, I'd never realized how spoiled she was. Like, I'm glad that
damn, yeah.
she's gone." And Olivia is literally stunned. She cannot believe that this girl has just come out with the words like I've never, what was the exact phrasing? It's awful, but I just kept reminding myself how spoiled rotten she was by my mother. Olivia then said, "I blinked, taken aback. Her mother, do you share the same mother?" And then obviously it comes about that Emily is technically adopted by Margaret, who is Charlotte's mum. She sort of adopted her when she was 3 because she was Philip's daughter, or so we think. And then Margaret dies, and it then makes Charlotte go into this massive whirlwind of like being more spoiled and more needy, and thank God she's gone.
Tell us how you wrote that.
So then they start talking about Olivia, and she's saying, yeah, I lost both my parents, like, trauma bonding, as it were. And then, despite everything that they've lost, the two discover that sharing their stories makes the journey a little less lonely. And it's a bit more of a therapy session than sort of like crying, over the whole situation. And then I had some notes on the end of chapter 6. So obviously Roman and Marcellius have escaped the prison that they were in, and they're trying to find some water and trying to find some safe place to go. And as they're sitting by the river trying to get the water, they start hearing voices, and Roman says, "Oh, there's probably somebody there that can help us." Marcellius is like, "What do you think? Who do you think is going to be helping us? Like, they could be just the same as the people before. And so they decide that they're going to try and talk to these people and see if they can get some help. And as they walk to where these people are, this person pulls a gun on them and holds the gun in front of them and realizes that Olivia is now holding a gun against Roman. And this is like the big reunion between the two groups of
Yay.
people. So cue the hugs, the tears, the movie-like worthy kissing, before Marcellious completely ruins the moment by collapsing headfirst into the creek. Talk about stealing the spotlight. So he passes out from his injuries and all of the stuff that he's gone through. And then the last bit of this is it's like a family reunion, but it's made really awkward. So Roman then swoops in to save his grumpy half-drowning brother, whose response to everybody's kindness is acting like the world's biggest grouch. Emily suddenly unlocks protective mom mode by telling Marcellious off so thoroughly that even he doesn't know what to say, and somehow gets him to eat his medicine without another complaint. Between the healing herbs, roasted rabbit, and sweet moments between Olivia and Roman, and enough sibling drama to fill a reality TV show, things seem to calm down. Until the forest decides to remind everybody that the nightmares don't take a day off. Just as everyone starts to relax, a mysterious shadow appears in the darkness, providing that peace is never long-lasting.
Beautiful, Sam. I love that we ended on that chapter, because it tied it up real nicely with the family together again. But I love the little mini cliffhanger there.
Little mini one, yeah.
Dun dun dun. I thought it was really cool how also it's tied up both their stories of like finding each other in the fact that, you know, Olivia's trying to protect herself and pulls a gun on Roman and is just like, oh, thank God.
Well, he did promise that I will find you, you know, in this life or the next, or in this time or whatever time it is, I will find you. And
that's right,
we go.
Roman. Oh my God.
He may
This
may
makes
not
me
be able.
think
He
of,
may be able to lie to Olivia. He can't lie to the English, you know, soldiers, the American soldiers. But this was definitely no lie. He found her.
He
Yeah.
found her.
it makes me think of what's his name, Liam Neeson during Taken.
Oh yeah,
No.
I will. Yes, like a dog with a
He
bone.
possesses a
Yeah.
certain particular set of skills.
Yeah. Just like, I will find you. Maybe not the killing part, but definitely I'll find you.
Yeah.
I was quite when I first read this book, I was quite shocked because I thought Emily was going to be a bit more like Charlotte, like the quiet, reserved, like meek and mild kind of person. It shocked me completely when she was just like, yeah, well, you know, she was a spoilt brat, so kind of had it coming.
She's the right girl for Marcellious.
I think she's the only girl from Marcellious.
Right.
And the fact that she managed to turn around and be like, look, Olivia's just sorted the shit out for me. Like, she's done nothing but be kind to you. She killed the rabbit, so don't say thank you to me, say thank you to her. And he's sort of like, oh, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, fine.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I like the parallels between, so Roman and Marcellius are together and they're brothers, but on a first read, you're not supposed to necessarily know concretely that they're brothers. Just like Olivia is with Emily on her side of the tale, and they're sisters, but you're not supposed to know they're sisters. So the brothers and the sisters are together and they come together. And Olivia and Roman have all of these, like, they're so messed up. They're so messed up. They're so messed up. I'm sorry, they're so messed up. They want to jump each other's bones in the nastiest, grimiest of situations.
Well, but that's all they have are nasty and grimy situations. I mean, when do they ever get the chance to be clean? Hardly ever.
They're right next to a creek. Go wash up in the creek, dude, and then have your nasty
or
thoughts.
just go in the creek. Go fuck there. Yeah.
But Olivia did go into the stream because she cleaned the clothes.
The clothes, but not her.
Well, yeah.
And Roman went into the creek, but only to pick Marcellius's body up, not to get clean
Like an
either.
idiot.
Yeah.
And then while Roman and Olivia are having their like little like eye contact moments, I'm pretty sure Emily and Marcellius are also having their little first love moments.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, for once, Marcellius had no retort. He watched her momentarily speechless.
He met
Pretty
his
sure that's
match.
love at first sight.
He met his
Pretty
match.
sure.
So does anybody else see the little robins and the little birdies flying around Marcellus's head?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
his heart is growing like the Grinch's. 2 sizes.
2 sizes too big.
2 sizes bigger.
And it's like 3 paragraphs later, like Emily listened intently, occasionally commenting on my tales, but keeping quiet as she studied Marcellius's sleeping form.
Oh.
Her keen gaze softened slightly, though I couldn't tell if it was sympathy or calculation, or maybe something else.
Something else.
I have a question. Marcellius and Roman, we know, are twins. They're fraternal twins, right?
Right.
So, does Marcellius have a reincarnation? Because
I don't know. Do we know that yet?
I know obviously fraternal twins aren't biologically the same person. But
Right.
for them to be born, and they're both Timeborns, and they both have darknesses, is there a reincarnation for Marcellius?
There
Or
must
was
be,
it a
I would
fluke?
assume.
Because there's got to be a
It's
reincarnation.
a very good question, Sam. That's a great.
It is
It's a great
question. Yeah.
I actually asked Sarah that question because
All right,
just
then
like
what's the answer?
Amara's name doesn't
You have
change.
to wait and see.
Marcellius, is present in the end. So I asked if he was reincarnated as well, but I cannot remember what she said.
Oh, come
I'll have to
on.
look back at my notes.
Patrick. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
because that was one of the
let's say
questions I
yeah.
had. The same thing. And I was like, so was Marcellius reincarnated the same time? I said I just had to, but I cannot remember.
I think Matt knows and won't tell us. Matt looks like a devil right now. Like he knows
The reason-
something.
Devil,
The only
I'm an
reason-
angel. I have birdies circling my head.
You
The only
just
reason
look like
because
you know
it's-
something.
it's a weird
I know a
I
lot of
did
things. I
have-
went to college.
two people to be born of the same person. Obviously, like I said, they're fraternal. They're not biological. So the reincarnation is of a previous person. It's not going to be born of the same parents. So my question is, if they're fraternal twins,
Right.
then
They're
there has to
their
be a
own
reincarnation
person.
of Marcellius. Because
I'm gonna guess yes. Just with the facts presented that you just presented. I'm gonna say yes, but we'll find out in the final book, I suppose, with everything else.
my brain's trying to work out why I'm asking the question, but it is something that's been in my head for like the last 2 days where I've been reading the book, that it just seems a bit sus that there's fraternal twins, yet there's not mention of a second reincarnation, which I think there should be. And if there's not, I'd be very surprised.
I think that's a really great question. I think that is really interesting headcanon. I
Mhm.
think that Sara would say to read and find out.
Exactly.
Patrick, do you know anything about tuberculosis?
What about it?
Well, Emily says that her stepmother, Margaret,
stepmother,
died of
yeah.
consumption, which is tuberculosis. And I grew up next to a haunted TB ward in college.
Really?
Yeah. And I kind of learned a little bit about TB, but I'm guessing that most of what I learned about TB is just ghost stories and weird myths. And I was just like, I don't actually think I know anything about TB. Like, how did Margaret die? What does TB do to you? Like, does Patrick have any medical information on that? That's what I have in my notes.
Doesn't it have something to do with your lungs or something?
Yeah, TB is
Yeah,
it
cough
definitely
out
attacks
blood.
your lungs. It's an infection, and it's one that you can't really get rid of.
You just eventually stop breathing. Like,
Well, it's not that you eventually stop breathing. It's one that we actually do. I don't really know. I haven't really studied a lot of it, like in depth of it. I just know that it's one of those that you want to be very careful with, and you don't even know if anytime somebody coughs around you, you have the possibility because you don't know if they actually have it or not. But it's transported by aerosol. So it's very easy to get if you're around somebody that's infected by it.
well, hopefully they got inoculated when they were youngsters.
Yeah. And it is
Vaccines are important.
Pretty amazing that Philip, Charlotte, and Emily didn't also succumb to it then.
that is a very good, unless they were wearing masks around her, 24/7.
Or she was in her room suffering and they stayed away from her.
I also thought it was very lovely. Okay, so we all know that Solaris is a thing and that there is like the evil stepmother queen, the evil queen, and like the good princess and the good prince, and like there's this whole fairy tale situation going on, right? So every single time I've been trying to look for fairy tale references in the story. And Emily talks about how like her mom died during childbirth. False, by the way. Hashtag Alina is a bitch. And so Margaret comes in, and Margaret is the stepmother. And Margaret doesn't treat Emily very well, but dotes on Charlotte.
Of course.
And all of that. But Emily just decides to start doing chores and working. And I couldn't help it. Like, it's just another evil stepmother, grim fairy tale type.
Cinderella.
Cinderella.
I love that little tiny backstory, and it fits in with the bigger picture so nicely.
It does. You're right. That's a good. Thanks for pointing that out.
That kind of weirdly makes Balthazar and Alina Beauty and the Beast.
It's like the Beast and the Beast, but I hear what you're saying.
Not quite as beautiful.
No, not as beautiful.
It's like the
dark
cursed word in the Beast.
version.
That's right.
Yeah.
The bitch and the beast. Yeah.
I was going to go with the C word, but the B word works too, I guess.
Okay. I'm making alliteration. The bitch and the beast. Yeah.
Oh, look at you. Nice. Rhetoric. I love it.
But see you next Tuesday works much better.
I guess that kind of brings us to the cliffhanger. Shadowy figure. Are we all on the same page about who the shadowy figure is?
Is it Balthazar? Is that what you're thinking? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I mean, he is.
I know that is all.
He has a lot of riding on these guys and watching over them and seeing what they're doing.
I guess I kind of thought it was Malik. It's the first glimpse of Malik that we get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, he's not
Well, I
really
wanted to
doing
ask-
anything. He's not trying to harm them or anything. He's just there.
There.
I always thought Balthazar would act more aggressive. Depending on the plan, of course.
Yeah, yeah. What were you going to say, Sam?
I was going to ask a question. I don't know whether it fits here or whether it fits later on when we're reading. But I want to ask you guys, when do you think Marcellious gets taken by Balthazar, as in like mentally? Because it's got to be in this book somewhere. Like,
I think there's an answer to that. I just can't remember the answer to that.
There is an answer.
that's what I thought, but I don't know if there's
I
actually mention of him.
I know
'Cause we
first
don't-
he has to go through, you know, like a love story with Emily and what they share, but then it gets soured by Balthazar, right? Or something like that.
Because the whole of this book is just Roman and Olivia's point of view. Is it not the next one where obviously Marcellious is included? So whether you think that it's in this book somewhere at some point in time that Marcellious gets.
In 2 episodes, that's when we're going to be talking about when the 4 of them ride over to Emily's like childhood home and find her dad's journals and stuff, and then that's where Balthazar and the Darknesses attack. And I can't remember if Marcellius is already bad at that point, or if he becomes bad during that episode.
And breaks Emily's heart.
I don't know if anybody else remembers.
No, I've read these so long ago that I
obviously he gets taken by Balthazar at the end of this one.
And that's when it all gets revealed
and that's
at
when
like
it all
the
gets
beginning of time.
unraveled that that's happened. But I didn't know whether there was an actual point in this book. I don't remember there being one. I just wondered whether
I know what happens. I just don't know when.
I think Sam just gave us all a homework assignment for every time we read. We got to be on the lookout for clues as to when Marcellius gets converted.
Okay, thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
We'll do.
I wanted to ask everybody one final question that kind of goes all the way back to chapter 2.
All right.
But I think it's bigger than just a single chapter type of question. And I think it might be a good question to end on today.
All right.
So in chapter 2, it's when he and Marcellius are like struggling against each other or whatever, and Roman is getting the daggers off of the forest floor and whatever. And Marcellius is like, "Where did you get that, you asshole?" Right?
Yeah.
We get this the daggers of the Timeborne came into existence at birth, which we already knew. We get this little detail, each one unique to its owner. So my question for everybody is, how are the daggers unique? What is your headcanon? What do you think they look like? How are they unique, etc.?
I think it's the symbols on it. I think they have different symbols. I always saw them like that. They weren't looking the same.
Symbols?
That's the only thing I can think of too. Or colors, stone colors, or I don't know.
Just like Harry Potter, the wand chooses the wizard.
That's
Harry
right.
Potter with my notes.
That's right.
But yeah, it got kind of going on with the symbols and whatnot. I think the runes on it, and that's just from other books that I've read. I think the actual markings on them are what, and they're tied to them because you can actually, because in the later books we know that you can actually see memories from them. So obviously they're tied somehow directly to that, or to the actual owner, to the actual time
Yeah,
traveler.
there's a definite soul and cognitive connection for sure, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like the dagger is born as well, even though
That's
it's an
right.
inanimate
It
object,
comes into existence
so
at
to
that
speak.
moment.
You guys are talking about runes. What kind of language do you think the runes are? Is this or symbols or whatever? Like, are we talking about like Olivia's a Scorpio, so her dagger has a scorpion on
No,
it?
I think they're
Or is
Latin.
this like runes of Solaris and we have no idea what they are or what language they're in?
That's
I
probably
think
it.
they're runes from Solaris,
I
because that's where
agree.
the daggers originated. So now,
Must be.
what
Yeah.
are they? Who knows?
Mm.
Olivia's the only one that knows how to break them apart. So
Well, that's
obviously
not
there's
completely accurate.
well,
Somebody taught her how to do
Mm.
that, so somebody else knows.
so that would probably, I mean, obviously you're looking at definitely somebody that's been around a super long time. So
Sam's been on the hunt for something, and I'm very curious.
I think she's
What are you
looking at the
doing,
cover.
Sam?
You know, there's a dagger on the
Is there a
cover.
picture of the daggers
I
in one
was
of the
looking
books?
at it on my computer.
The covers have daggers
So-
on the book.
Yeah.
So
No.
this one has the sun and moon dagger. This one has another one through the skull, and this one has the dagger on the front. They're all different.
Oh, right.
Like the handles and stuff are different, but from what I can see, I can't see great because the pictures are obviously covered over. But the runes look different.
Then it's got to be that.
So I'm just trying to see, because then obviously that one has got the dagger necklace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to see if
I never
The-
liked that depiction because I always think of the daggers as like slightly curved, like wicked.
Me
See,
too.
I
Why
think
is that?
I think they're waved, like the blades are waved.
Oh.
That's
Oh,
always
like
Oh.
how I've seen.
serpentine. Serpentine.
Yeah, like
Nice,
waves.
that's good. I like that.
I like that too.
Because I don't think I've never thought that they're clean cut. I've always thought that they're there to make a mess.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I've always thought of this like curve of like Arabian Nights or something.
Right.
Just because, like, not to be a complete racist idiot American, but like Ugarit is the same part of the world and they have a certain kind of aesthetic for their blades and
That
and
doesn't
whatnot.
sound racist at all. You're just taking facts and making a prediction.
Yeah.
Very assumed facts based upon very little academic research.
All right, well,
But I
that's
was-
okay.
When I first read them, because I didn't have the actual books. I just had the art reading ones. I also thought they were like the ones from ancient Egypt, where you've got the blade and then the two prongs that sit either side of it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what they're called.
Mhm.
The ones that you use, in the
what-
Mummy, they use them in the fighting scene. Rachel Weisz does the whole. I don't know what they're called.
Our story comes to a pause, just as Sam said, as a dark figure watches Olivia and the others in the darkness as they try to sleep. And Olivia swears that the darkness has found them yet again.
Ooh.
But for now, the archives are closed. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week as we tackle chapters 8 through 18 of Darkness of Time, and we meet the Native Americans for the first time.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.